Agenda, 6 o'clock, welcome and housekeeping. Weekly reminder, 6:05, we're going to go over a pregame presentation. We're going to go over dealing with coaches presentation, and then we're going to have a short discussion at the end of the meeting about some changes that are going on with our JV coverage. Before we get going, I'm not sure if any of them are here yet, but football season just ended. Do we have any football officials here that are here with us at the end of football season? Any football officials? Mr. Wells, Mr. Cooper, anybody else? Mr. Rick Simon? Welcome. Did any of you guys work any playoffs, any state tournament games this season?
Cooper did. Yeah.
Coop. Where's Coop? Coop, what did you work for us this year? You want to share with what you worked on Saturday?
I was at Rio Rancho in Cleveland, just 6A.
Right on. Right now, I'd like to recognize Coop for covering our 6A boys football state championship. Congratulations, Coop. Welcome to basketball season, brother. This week we're going to start something a little bit new that we haven't done in the past. Every so often I'm going to try to do a weekly member recognition for somebody who's going above and beyond as far as what we're trying to do within our association. I'm going to give a little back story to the gentleman that I'm going to talk about tonight. Last year, when I was sub-varsity assigner, me and this guy had a real hard time getting on the same page. It was either, with work or just something always seemed to come up here and there. And a lot of that was the fact that I wasn't communicating a whole lot with this young man and getting to know some of the nuances of the job that he was in. So we just never got things on the same path. This year has been a totally different start with this young man. We were doing our state test right before we went to the break. And our first 40 questions, we were like clockwork, we were on it, everybody was ready to go, and then we hit question 50 or 60, and then the ball dropped from 60 through 70 wasn't there, 70 through 80 wasn't there, 80 through 90, so on and so forth. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was one of those like, well, you know what, we assigned this stuff out, I'm going to bag it, we're going to move on, because I certainly didn't have all 100 questions taken care of. But we did have Jason Salcena step up, and I want to recognize him for our barrel of monkeys mentality. We had some guys that maybe had something come up or whatever the case may be. Jason stepped up and took care of the rest of the test for the rest of us. I reached out to Jason and sent him a text that, hey man, appreciate you stepping up, helping the group out. And his response back to me was, you know what, hey, I've been doing this a long time, I've been doing this long enough, it's now my time to step up and do a little bit more. He's also been a tremendous help to recruiting and brought in 2 or 3 new officials. And he's actively recruiting. He's putting his neck out on the line to somebody saying, hey, I want to take on a bigger leadership role. And then he's also modeling. So for me, I think when we have people like that are doing stuff within our group locally, we need to do a good job of recognizing it. So call it the barrel of monkeys mentality. We all have it, right? And I have it in my classroom, and we have our kids, and we do plus minus stuff like that. And it's a deal where you pull one of the monkeys out of the barrel, and he's pulling one up, and he's reaching down into the barrel and pulling up another one. It's the kind of mentality that we want to have as officials. It's the kind of mentality we want to have in our workplace. It's the kind of mentality we want to have as students. So I just want to take a moment to recognize Jason Salcena for stepping up and helping the group out as a whole, taking care of the test when some other people fell short, and just actively doing his part to continue the growth and education of our group. So I know he's not here right now, but I'd like to take a moment to recognize him. All right, so last meeting, at the end, we talked about these five deals and how they apply to when we're dealing with coaches and we're putting together successful pregames. Reliability, trustworthy, honest, humility, and respect. Okay, we're going to kind of carry that over into some of the stuff we're going to talk about this evening. We talked about our pregame presentation for tonight. Okay, so the goal of this presentation is to provide training to all the group on how to organize professionally and share information to uphold the integrity of the game prior to us taking the floor. So, Zach Van, stand up real quick. Okay? He's a dangerous man, right? Okay? So, Zach reached out to me 2 weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, and he said, hey, this is my pregame. I'm putting together a pregame this year. You take a look at it. I said, yeah, man, absolutely, I'll take a look at it. So I took a look at it. I asked him if he'd give us the okay. And instead of sitting and breaking down his pregame, what I did was I made copies for everybody. So hopefully everybody got a copy and a pen. While we're going over our pregame presentation, take a look at what he has there. Jot down some notes. If you're okay with him reaching out and having questions for you guys, put your name in an email there. What this does is instead of us breaking this down at the end of this presentation, we can pass them down to Zach, and then he's got 30 different sets of input that he can apply to whatever he wants to do. Okay? So, Zach, dude, I'm telling you right now, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep reaching. This guy sends me clips like every other night. I'm getting a clip at 11 o'clock. What do you think of this play, Walt? I think I'm in bed, brother, but let me take a look at it. But no, hey. Obviously, he cares about what's doing, so let's do our best when we're going over this to give him some positive feedback when we send it back to him at the end of the meeting, okay? So as far as developing a pregame, first off, on page 131 of our mechanics books, page 131 of this one, okay, there's a fantastic playbook that if we just carry in our bag, we can pull this out and carry on a conversation that's going to lead us to have the opportunity to have a successful game as far as 3 of us, 2 of us, whatever it is, being on the same page. So 131 gives you much more in depth than what we're going to go into. These are just some things that I think as a local group, as a state, if we cover these things, we put ourselves in a great situation to be successful night in and night out. Okay, so develop conversations with your crew before the game. Have you had these teams before? What are their tendencies? I'll give you an example. I had Oñate on Saturday with the Flores boys, and all 3 of us can tell you right now that on back-to-back nights they use a 2-2-1 full court press to get themselves back into and win basketball games. That's good information to share with anybody that you're going to be on a crew. These guys can press and they do it well. And they can do it at critical times. Okay, so have those conversations. What are their team tendencies? Are they a man team? Are they a zone team? Are they fast starters? Are they slow in the second half? Whatever the case may be, what are their tendencies? And their tendencies, the knowledge of our tendencies are going to grow as the season goes on because we're going to have these teams multiple times. All right? Points of emphasis, rules changes, help plays, dead ball and layered plays, intangible items, communicating with coaches, and assigners' expectations. Those are all things that I think that we as a group and as a state should be covering on a fairly regular basis, if not every night. Okay? So points of emphasis. Okay, we talked about it in meeting 1, week 1. I gave out this handout right here. It's a 2-sided handout. That points of emphasis on one side. The other side it had mechanics and game. On the other side it had actually the whole thing was points of emphasis. Okay, it was all points of emphasis, all mechanics, game management, court position, and coverage. Okay, so why do we make sure that we can cover these? Why is it critical to talk about these?
This is the reason why they're there.
This is the reason. What's the reason?
To put everybody on the same page.
Absolutely, put everyone on the same page. At some point, our bosses or the people who oversee this say, you know what, these are additional issues that we need to address as a state, locally and as a state. So these are something we have to discuss every night because the people that are our bosses, the people who oversee our states, saying, you know what, these are areas that we're not doing, maybe not, we can do a better job in. So these got to be discussed regularly. Okay, and I'm not going to go into detail because we went over it week 1 a little bit, okay? Rules changes and clarifications, all right? How many of you guys have heard this? If you don't know, don't blow in a pregame. How many of you guys have heard that statement before? Okay? If you don't know how to administer, don't blow it. So if we have questions on how to administer something, if we have questions on I don't understand this, locker room conversation, this is where this needs to come up. Hey man, we did this in our last game, and you know what, I don't really understand how this went down. Can we walk through this? Yeah. This is where we go through it. Okay, what are they? How do we administer it? What if we don't know how? Ask the questions in the locker room. Mechanics. What's the mechanic for this? Man, if this happens, what do I do? Ask those questions in the locker room. These are stuff that we have to discuss, especially early in the season, right? Especially early in the season. Help plays. All right? And this is optic stuff. This is stuff where it's like, man, those three got a good understanding of what's going on. Those three are in sync out there. Help plays. The long baseline, sideline, out of bounds. I'm in the slot. Martin, stand up, your trail. Mr. Amigo, stand up, you're at the lead. Okay? Ball's in my primary. It goes up to the top of the key. Gets swung over in front of Martin, and there's a tip out of bounds. And then, then it comes this way, and there's a tip out of bounds. Over here, actually, it comes this way. Okay? Back up. Ball starts in Tony's area, goes to Martin, gets swung this way, goes to the baseline. Quick tip out of bounds right there. Whose line is that? Lead. Well, if lead is dealing with post play and cutters and traffic, how are we going to deal with this help play? Are we going to wander across the baseline? Or are we going to be assertive of what's happening? Hey, if I have a play like this, I'm going to look right at you, Walt, I'm going to go, help! And I'm going to keep my whistle on mouth, I'm going to crack. Beep! White. Long baseline, sideline, out of bounds plays. Conversations we need to have to make the optics of what we do out there better. Okay, pass and crash plays. How are we going to deal with passing plays at the foul line? How are we going to deal with them below the foul line? How are we going to deal with them on the sideline? How are we going to deal with them in transition? Conversations that we need to have. Above the rim play. Do we have guys that are going to be up there? Who's responsible for that? Our outside officials have to have that conversation. Out of bounds corrections, how are we handling that? Julian has an out of bounds going white and crack it white. I have 100% knowledge. How are we going to handle that? Are we going to come over here and Julian, did you get a good look at that? Or are we going to come over here and say, Julian, that's off 23 white? Those are the conversations we need to have to make the optics of what we do better so all three of us are on the same page. Okay? Simple, small things. Dead ball and layered plays. This gets us wrecked in games more often than anything else, in my opinion. Okay? I had a guy tell me this summer, he says, when the ball goes dead, we become alive as officials. I think there's a lot of truth to that. More often than not, we have a jump ball, held ball, ball goes out of bounds, we're going this way, and we do. We're going the other way. We're dead in the water there. Have the conversation of how we're going to stay alive during these. After shooting fouls, after bodies are on the floor, how are we going to handle that? If I have a block charge play, boom, offense, and I've got 4 bodies on the floor, am I going to leave and go report? Or are we going to have a conversation? Hey, we have a pass and crash. Make sure the closest official stays put until that rotating official comes down and says, Walt, I got your players. Thanks, Dennis. Now I can go report. Never take our eyes off what's going on. Okay? How are we going to deal with held balls? Live ball and dead ball transition. All conversations I think that are good for us to have in terms of how we're going to do things. Another big part, the intangible items. Okay? How we hustle, how we communicate, how we implement our pregame, and how we catalog calls. Light call for light call. What conversation we need to have about, hey, guys, make sure we're brisk to the table. How reliable are you? How trustworthy are you taking what we're talking about before the game and applying it to actual live action? You know, the thing about it is these intangible items, I think, to me, in my opinion, are items that, you know, perception, they say, and what we do is everything, right? Everybody's watching, everybody's making a judgment on what you're doing. These intangible items are a big piece to us taking care of the things as far as the optics and the outside, the people in the stand seeing what we're doing out there. Dealing with coaches, okay? Now, I'm not going to touch a whole lot on this, but I think these are some of the things that we need to have just general conversations before the game, and just some things, some seeds that we can plant moving forward into these things, okay? So, never go into a game with bad intentions. So, in other words, oh man, if he or she starts on me tonight, nope, I'm getting them. All right, we're not in the I gotcha business as officials. Okay, we're not. Okay, talk about tendencies. and then let protocol and procedure drive what we're doing out there. Okay, we'll talk about that in a little bit, all right? If you want to have an easier time dealing with coaches, in my opinion, these are the pieces that we talked about earlier that are your pieces to dealing with coaches. Okay, do they feel this way about what we're doing out there? Okay? Last thing I put in here is as far as our pregame goes. Okay, is our assigners and observers' expectations. Now, understand this. We don't walk out of our locker room hooty-hooing. Okay, so in other words, who is in the stands and who is they watching hooty-hooing up in the stands to see if our assigners or observers are there. But I think that especially for our younger people, if you have the intentions of moving forward and growing, moving up the ladder, so to speak, this is something that has to be talked about. Because our evaluations and our expectations of our bosses are no different in here as independent contractors, as officials, as it is working over at any other job that anybody else in this room has. These are expectations. I think there's stuff that they need to be talked about on a regular basis. Now, this is a nutshell of a pregame, because you know I can't come up here and tell you guys this is what needs to be in your pregame. I can tell you where our best resource is, and as far as that goes, our best resource is right here as a guide, okay, by the book, so to speak. Okay, but I also believe that your pregame has to be tailored to who you are and to who your personality is. All right, within the frameworks of what we're talking about here. Okay, like for me, I always want to make sure that when I'm with my crew, I ask, "What do you guys need from me? What do you guys need from me to help you guys be comfortable out there?" Ask in the first 2 games of the season. I'll ask it probably in the last game of the season, because I think it's important that you and whoever you're working with are all on the same page. So again, this is just a general outline of what I feel is a solid framework that us as an association can implement on a regular basis. Okay, any questions or anything that anybody would like to add as far as our pregame presentation? Veterans, yes sir, Rick.
Well, I saw a pregame presentation that came out on Facebook, on NFHS Facebook page. Didn't get a chance to look at it real close yet. I saw it today, but I'll see if I can download it and send it to you. And it has a court diagram and everything.
Oh, great. So if anybody, you guys FaceTimers or Facebookers have those, face snappers, have those things, make sure that we could, I don't, if you could have it and share it, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
I don't know how to do this stuff. But it's just,
But you can do that.
that's a PowerPoint, yeah, that's 1988 stuff.
Do you see those transitions?
Yes, sir.
You know,
It's just so that-
you made a good point tonight, you know, a pregame really should not just be a one, just because you're the crew chief or just because you're the bar that night. I think it's real important, you made a good point tonight. I think it's real important to get the input of everybody in there, cause everybody has different ideas, or I shouldn't say ideas, but different things that they may be wanting a question answered or making somebody aware. It might be a situation that happened in a previous game to them that, you know, could happen again. So I think it's important that you include everybody in the pregame. Everybody has their little piece of things to talk about. I think that's really, really important.
And I think that kind of goes that humility piece that goes on there. I think, and we've all heard the conversation. Well, yeah, I've got 7 games, but I'm only crew chief on 2, or I'm going down here and well, he's crew chief. Man, it's a team, humble mentality. And I can promise you this: at the end of the day, when somebody screws up, there's very, very few signers. There's not a signer here that that I can think of that's going to be like, nope, 100% on the crew chief. Nope, you counted that basket. Nope, I know you're in the slot, but it's on the crew chief. Crew chief. No, it's a group train wreck, or it's a group succession. So that humility piece, we as crew chiefs, you as crew chiefs, us as crew chiefs, need to make sure that that's the kind of the stick, so to speak, leading us into our locker rooms.
And if you're official, don't be afraid to participate. I think it's important that you come prepared with something to talk about. You know, there's a lot of times where the other officials might feel intimidated because he might be working with two veteran partners. That's okay. Come prepared to have some discussion about something.
Yeah, absolutely. If I may
Bet.
piggyback on that.
Piggyback.
At a camp, I was told, you gotta come in with a crew chief mentality. Even though you're not the crew chief, you still come in with a crew chief mentality.
Right.
Because as you said, Walt, it's a team effort, it's all three of us.
Yeah.
And we need to work together, we all need to be on the same page.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before I move on, if you got a pregame presentation, everybody's got something to share, please, before, whether you put your name on it for feedback or not, please put something down on the sheet of paper that you have that we can give back to one of our future vets that's taken the time to put something together. Make sure he's taken, let's do our best to make sure he's taken 30 or 4 pieces of little nuggets going home this evening, okay? So moving on to some other stuff here. This presentation is 100% stolen, okay? It is, man. Hey, not afraid to hide behind it. It's stolen. It is jacked. 2 summers ago, my wife was like, "Let's go on vacation." And I was like, "Let's go." She's like, "Where do you want to go?" I said, "Let's go somewhere on the West Coast." She was like, "Right on. Where do you want to go?" I said, "Oregon." I heard Oregon's beautiful up there.
You said the bad word.
She was like, "Let's go. I've always wanted to go to the coast." I said, "Sweet. Ref school is June 8th through 10th, and you can do whatever you want all day long." And she was like, "All right, we're going to ref school." So I went to ref school. I've gone twice, and one thing that I learned up there is knowledge is not knowledge until it's shared. It's also it's a great camp for a variety of reasons. One, it's founded and started by the lady who is wonderful and just became our women's national coordinator for NCAA women's officials, Ms. Penny Davis. And I'm telling you right now, it's family from the start to finish. And if you're invested in something in getting better, man, golly, just the kindest, most wonderful, willing to share people on the basketball planet Earth are up here at Ref School. And this was a presentation that I stole from one of the classroom sessions that I had here. It's a fantastic information. I wish that some of it was mine, but it's not. Okay, so our goals tonight, all right? It's better to be prepared as a group of officials, to be more consistent on how we communicate during disagreements with coaches, right? God knows we have a bunch of those. Okay, provide some structure to many situations that we face with coaches so that these decisions will be made business decisions as opposed to emotional decisions. Okay, so what's the difference? Everybody show me, right now, everybody show me real quick, what's a business decision technical look like? What's it look like? Right? What's an emotional technical look like? Right? Fire it up, man. Okay? We want to try to get away from that, all right? We want to make these business decisions, and we want to make this, we want to provide some framework for us at bare minimum locally. That way we've got some protocol to say, you know what, man, this is just the norm here, all right? Okay, but before we get into that, let's talk about some coaches' backdrop. And I'm just being honest because very, very few guys are going to be able to stand in front of you giving an official's presentation, have stood on a sideline for as long as I have as a coach, okay? So, the 15 years that I spent as a coach, okay, this is what I found, okay? They spend more time on their craft than we do. We do. They spend more time on it than we do. Okay, they see more film. They have more in-season practice. And they have more off-season training. Okay, because those guys are getting their kids on the road and going in the summertime to go play 60, 70 games. And you know what? We're not going out to track down 60, 70 games to go get better in the summer. I promise you that. Okay? There's psychologists, there's teachers, there are meal providers, the travel coordinators, they deal with parents, they deal with administration, they do all that stuff before they get off the bus to go play an away game. Okay? So let's just understand just some background on what these people go through, what their job entails before we get out and moving on. Now, I want to understand this, okay? We all choose what we do. I chose to be a coach and I chose to do all that. They're doing the same thing. So because they do that, does not give them all right, a reason for an out, okay? But it needs to be understood from our shoes. Okay, some of the stuff that goes into what they're doing. All right? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about, okay, where's your line? Okay? All of our line is different. Okay? My line is different from Rob's is different from Dennis is different from Pat's. Okay, Pat's is different than Burgess's. But we have basically 5 things that we can do when we're dealing with coaches. We can do nothing, we can address it, we can give a warning, we can give a technical, and we can give an ejection. Okay? Before we go any further, Patrick, what's a technical?
It's a foul.
Foul. Anybody else got another definition for a technical? Phenomenal. You're a college student, still phenomenal. Okay? It's a foul. That's it. When it's like this, when it's like this, it's a foul. Okay? So keep that in mind moving forward. It's just a foul. Okay, so rules of engagement. Okay, and these are some things that we got to keep in the back of our mind. Always address them by their name. Be it Coach Benjamin, Coach Selby, whatever it is, always address them by their name. Coach or whatever it is. Now, Julian Salazar may be able to walk into Mayfield's gym and say, George, stop waving your hands. You may not be able to walk in and go, Georgia, put your hands down. Okay? So keep it professional based on your relationship with these guys, because every relationship is different, okay? The big ignore will never work. You talk all you want, that's never going to work, okay? Starting the conversation to convince them that you're right means that you won't win. You know, foul block tribes, and you walk over there and they don't want to talk to you, but you go over there and you go, the reason that I had that, they don't care. And you know what? You open a can of worms, and it's, if they want to address it, they'll talk to you. You start the conversation, not going to do anything. Let them talk first, accept what they say. It doesn't mean that you agree with it. Okay, always address unacceptable behavior before discussing the call. Stomping your foot. Mr. Mike, okay, Coach Selby, stop stomping your foot and we'll talk. Okay? Address the inappropriate behavior before we do anything. Okay? Expect a reaction. Action deserves action. Okay? And when we say action deserves action, that's when we come in and kind of talking about those 5 decisions that we're going to make that we'll get to in a minute. Okay? So consider that every interaction is different. Works with some, won't work with others. And the other side of that is, you know what works with this dude? You may try something on a Tuesday and you're like, oh, I'm going to use that every time. You go out on Thursday and it blows up in your face. So just understand that both sides of it, it's not always going to work. Okay? Let them win. Okay? This guy says, what's the big deal? Even if you're right, they're not always going to believe you. Nothing wrong with us losing some of those battles, guys, gals. Okay? Coaches don't get immunity when we miss a call. We miss calls, they miss layups. Okay? We miss walks, they miss front ends of 1-on-1. Okay? Assume the coach is going to see everything you do. I'll give you an example. Again, with the Flores boys, we're using you guys again. We went over to say, America's coach, hey, coach, how are you? Paul Sanchez, Flores. Right? Questions for us? How was Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving was good. Did you go out turkey? Yep. Okay, see you later. Okay, so we go over to see Coach Nunez. Coach, how are you? Oh, good one last night down at Hobbs. Yeah, man, I thought we were going to lose, man. I just told kids, this, that, shit, clock, minutes left, got 3. Like 3 minutes have gone by, and this dude's still chatting in the back of my mind. I'm going, this cat over here is watching us come over here and talk about Thanksgiving dinner with this cat. Regardless of what we're doing, we're doing some perception there. I have to assume that, you know, everything that guy's over there doing, everything that guy's seeing, his wheels are turning up there. And that's on me. You know, this is a short conversation. How are you? Good? Turkey? Something? Okay. Hey man, good luck tonight. Boom. This was short. I'm going to make doggone sure this one's short. Okay, so just small things. Okay, assume everybody's watching. Okay, stay on the floor if touch recommended. Why do we stay on the floor? We're having a conversation with the coach. maybe, so, you know, we're not fishing, but I mean, if we're on the floor and we're having a conversation with the coach, is the view of what's going on there better than me being over here in his huddle and on his sideline, at his bench, in his box? Our responsibility is what the lines inside that floor. Okay, the decorum, yes, you have to manage that too, but stay on the floor. Okay? He's got to talk to you in a voice that you can hear if he's on the floor. If you're right here, it's just you and him. It's your word against his. Right? If we're on the floor, we're visible to everybody. No he said, she said. Stay visible, stay on the floor when we're dealing with coaches. Okay, so, first time, man, all right, so we had something, oh, that's a walk, Walt. Okay, you might be right. 2 trips later, Walt, that's another walk. Red flag. Okay, 5th trip, looking at the clock, 5.5 to go. Walt, you guys missing walks all night. That's 3 times. That's a trend. Now we need to start thinking about how we're going to diffuse this and how we're going to fix this. All right. So remember, using a rules engagement will turn these emotional decisions into business decisions. Trust that matters the most. Okay, and just know this. Okay, the referee that can understand the coach's view when they don't agree will always be viewed by the coach as a referee, who's a good communicator, and can be trusted. The more trusted the referee is, the more trusted the referee always gets ahead. We're talking about those walks. Walt, that's a walk. Walt, that's another walk. Walt, that's 3 walks. Do I understand this coach's point of view? Is this a guy I've worked for on a regular basis? I haven't heard a doggone thing for it. And you know what? I've already seen one that may have been a walk. So my point is we can't handle every situation the exact same way. We've got to be knowledgeable about what's going on. Is this the guy who normally gets on me? Is this another night of this guy? Or is this, you know what? I haven't heard anything from this guy or anything from this girl. Maybe he has. So maybe my address here is with who? My crew. Maybe that's where I address it. But this right here, understanding, do I address it with the coach or do I address it with my crew, is what separates and helps build some of that trust. Okay? Rule book knowledge. Not going to get into it. But there's what warrants a bench technical. It's in our book. If we have knowledge of this, we're equipped to move forward. If we eject, we have knowledge of what to move forward. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, I'm not going to go over it because that's stuff that we can all access. Okay, so let's talk about the things. First thing was nothing. We're not doing anything. So what is this? Generally involves a conversation often initiated by the coach. Because remember, we don't initiate conversations. Let them initiate it. We're out there to play ball. We're out there to manage the game. Coach has a reaction to the call and accepts it. God, well, that's 2 of my best guys. It's 2 of my best guys. First quarter. It's a foul. He's letting me know it's 2 of his best guy, but did he let me go report? Conversation over and I turn around? No more. I heard it. We're good. Okay? Comments can't be heard by anybody other than official. Well, yeah, whatever. You know, that's two in a row. Now that's 2 in a row. Well, 2 of my best friends. I don't think anything needs to be done there. Coach meets you at the 28. That's a typo. 28-foot line. New rule next year. It's going to 29. Okay. Coach meets you at the 28-foot line, right? He comes down after a call, right? She wasn't set? Well, no. She's still moving. I got over there. I got a report. I got to do my thing. She waited. Addressed me. Nothing. We're good. Nothing doesn't mean that we ignore it. It just means that we have a conversation and we move on. Okay? That's one for us with coaches, right? Okay? We're just not addressing. He hasn't done anything inappropriate. We're doing nothing. Okay, 2 we address. Okay, this is not a warning. Hey, this isn't one of those beep beep beep. 223, put it in the second quarter, put it in the book, warning, here on the bench coach. It's not one of those. We're addressing a problem. All right, we're addressing a problem. This is not a warning, but continued action by the same stuff will be. Okay? Comments about integrity, Jesus Christ, well, and I'll give you an example of the one I missed. I had an official coach say, across the thing. And I'm like, who is he? Yelling at whatever, He goes, Walt, so-and-so, you gotta talk to him. You know what? It didn't register with me right. It was just something that came at me about one of my partners that caught me off guard, and I didn't address it. But you know what? It's questioning what he's doing. We're yelling across the floor. I didn't catch it. You know what? Right there, just stop. Hey, coach, he's going to be over here in a little bit. Yelling across the floor isn't going to help anything. I'm just saying he'll talk to you. It's addressed. We're not stopping the game of warning, okay? Following a reaction to a call, makes comments about a crew, all right, that can be heard by a few, his bench, 2 rows back, okay? Noise level, emotion level going up a little bit, all right? One hand wave off toward you. You know what? Hey, I'm telling you right now, I love that this is a big hitter D1 giving this presentation. And he said, you know what? He goes, if I go headhunt that, he goes, I'm opening a can of worms. Guys, thank you for saying that, because you know what? I've done this 100 times. 100 times. Is there a difference between here and here and this? Heck yeah. But I can address this here. Again, everybody's line is different. This might get 4th with some of us, okay? But to me, this is one I can get on a free throw. You all right, man? Or a free throw? Hey, what you all right, man? Kind of like hazard wave me off a little bit. Did I miss something over there? Don't do that. Okay, I'll work. You can do that. Not do that to me again. That'd be great. Something simple. You can address it later. But you know what? On film, I can go back and I say, oh, right here, 223, I had a conversation about it. I saw it, and I try to let it go. You know what? When that guy waves you off and you whack him, or it's his second tee, and you know what thing goes to Dana, there's not going to be a question on what you were doing. It's going to be a question on what they were doing. Okay? Be more patient as the game goes further along. Basically, what I got from this, when this guy said this, was, well, that's a walk. Well, that's a walk. Okay, dude. Yeah, you've told me that twice in the first quarter. If it comes up again in the third quarter, I'm not going to kill him. Well, I told you in the first quarter, we're not going to kill him more. We're going to be a little more patient. Does it continue? If it continues, then yes. But we're going to be more patient and understand what's going on as the game develops. Warnings. Okay? I love this piece, but I hate this piece. Because, to me, I would give back as a coach what I got last time I gave a warning in a game where I went, beep, beep, that's a warning. Here, it's like this. I'm warning you. Well, you're being warned too. Like, that's what he told me. He goes, you're being warned too. How do I stick that? He's being a clown. I'm engaging across the floor. Instead of dealing with him by his side, I've set myself up for him to go, I'm warning you too. You know, there was like 11 people in the stands. Okay? Okay? So when we're setting this warning, I like this warning too because a lot of coaches will just settle down if it's used the right way. Okay, when a specific action that is addressed happens again within the next 5 minutes. Okay, so give you an example. Coach, had the conversation about this, and you go with 3 minutes later and you give him that's a foul, and you get one of these. You know what? No. Bang. I had a conversation with you. You waved me off twice. I can prove it on film, and here we go from here. Or beep beep, bench warning. Okay, excuse me. Beep beep, bench warning. No, we've talked about this. Now you're doing something I asked you not to do. Why are you doing that to me? Boop. No. We have protocol, okay? When the coach is in his box but yelling about officiating, when we talk about yelling, let's give some examples of why we might give a warning when a coach is in his box and yelling.
Across the court.
Horrible call. Across the court? Okay, yeah. Across the court. That'd be a good one. I'm here. Go way the heck over there. He's coming at me here. What about this? It's a foul. This? Is that warrant? Probably from the box? No, we're not going to do that. All right? Coach follows the ref to the baseline on a call or no call. Okay? Okay? That's something there. And that's one of those deals where it's coming at you and screaming and yelling and doing this. You know what? Yeah, that might be a warrant. Okay, coach makes a comment, trying to embarrass you, but you're not sure. Okay, now, this one here, like, and again, stolen. Okay, all stolen. I can't tell you 100% what this gentleman meant about what you're not saying. To me, this is a warning. A lot easier for, you know what, he's making a comment about so-and-so over there, or making a comment about you, or that you think is drunk, you beep, 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 no. That's a bench warning. For what? Switch with me. Bench warning, 2:25, second quarter. Coach, why are you trying to call me out like that? I wasn't trying to call you out. Well, it certainly felt like it did. I'm glad it's just a warning. Be warned, don't do that again to me or my partners. Is anybody hurt? Anybody harmed?
Just a warning.
Just a warning. Okay? And again, are these set in stones? No, they're not. All right. Technical. Same warning about the action that's already happened. Clearly out of the box. Okay, these get more clear as we go on, obviously. Coach is clearly trying to embarrass an official. 2 feet on the floor, 2 hand wave on to discuss. Okay, again, just examples. Okay, we don't need to find this to do it. Okay, just some examples. Out of box, continued yelling or clapping at the referees, and this is any derogatory supervisor comment. I can't believe Tony has you in this game. I'm gonna call Tony as soon as this game's over. Okay. Boom. It was on the PowerPoint. Okay, but to me, and this is again, this is stuff that I got from other people that I believe and I agree with. Doesn't mean that we all have to. Ejection. This is pretty much simple stuff. Okay, made for TV stuff. That's gonna be on Sports Center. Okay, gone. Loud integrity comments about technical, making physical contact, any profane, vulgar, threatening, derogatory remarks about an official or opposing players that can be overheard by many. Okay? And then obviously our technicals and all that other stuff. Okay, so what can you do to improve your relationship with coaches? Okay? Call coaches by their first name or last name, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, be respectful about it. Listen and understand before you respond. That's the biggest thing that we struggle with, is just stopping and listening. There's a lot of times that things just end with a statement and we go, okay. They're grabbing us all over. You have the number. 32 white. 32 white, I want to partner, so first come get. Listen. We don't need to go into engagement thinking about what we're going to respond to next. We need to go into engagement listening to what's being said. It's okay to not win the conversation, non-calling official help bring down the coach. So what do I mean by that? Let's say that I'm seaside, slot, we have drive on the lead side, we have block charge play. Boom, 50-50. Oh! What can this C do here just for a second to help out? Whoa. Coach, easy. He'll talk to you. Coach, that's a tough play. That's a tough play. Give him a sec. Give him a sec to report this thing. He'll talk to you. How about just simple, whoa, Coach, you know Julian will talk to you. Coach, you know Mark is going to come talk to you. Hold on, that's a tough play, Coach. You don't have to run away from it, but just real quick. You don't have to look at easy, Coach. Easy. Help me out here. He'll talk to you. Be a good partner. Help out if you have an opportunity. After an injury, I love this one. After an injury, okay, as the coach is coming off, explain to them what their options are rather than, Coach, I need a sub. Person goes down with a leg injury or cramp versus blood versus whatever. So, Coach, you got 20 seconds, I need a sub. How about, Coach, this is what's going on. You're allowed to choose any player for you to go in. You've got 20 seconds. How nice is that for a coach that he doesn't have to think? So I gotta figure out what we're eating after the game. Okay. Take advantage of having discussions off the floor. This is off-season stuff. Summer camps, things like that. You have an opportunity to sit down and visit with the coach, where he starts a conversation with you and share and build a relationship. Okay, it'd be a lot easier for you moving in. It's what we're doing. All right, so. And again, I think regardless of how we build those relationships with coaches, I think it's really, really important that we're keeping those 5 things we talked about before Thanksgiving and start of this meeting, as far as being reliable, being trustworthy, being honest, being humble, being respectful. If we're able to do those 5 things, we're dealing with coaches and we're sharing pregame, man, we're gonna have a good shot at being really, really good 9 games. So, questions or anything as far as dealing with coaches? All right. As a lot of you guys know, we had some changes that have gone on with our JV coverage. Okay, Las Cruces Public Schools is no longer going to pay for that 3rd official. Okay, so I wanted to have a small discussion today in terms of just trying to be really, really transparent and honest with where we're at as an association versus where a lot of other associations are at. We're so far ahead of the game down here in the Southwest that we don't even have anything else to compare to really around the state. As far as our 3-man, as far as our new officials coming in and having the opportunities to get some 3-man training early. We're in a very, very unique situation. We got Marcus Mosier over at the AC who's helping out tremendously with our recruiting and our retention. I want to be honest with everybody here. Marcus Mosier right now is shopping for a job because of some changes that are going on out of his control over at Mexico State. So there's a chance that I'll be honest with you, Marcus is our biggest asset as far as recruiting and retention goes. We have the chance that he's going to be gone. So I just want to be real, real clear on where we're at, which is I think ahead of the game. And where we're going based on some changes with Las Cruces Public Schools, that they're trying to save some money, which I get. I get, but this batch is not going to get any better. And then on top of that, we're losing a guy who's brought in a lot of guys. Okay, so my conversation is I like to be proactive and try to find a way that we can actively work together to keep some of the training going with our 3-man. I think it goes way, way beyond me coming up here and brainstorming a way that we can make this happen. But you know, I want to be clear that I know that there's all of us at some point are like, you know what? No, I need that money, and I don't want to. I'm going to go work it. And that's awesome, and it's all right. But I also know the other side of that is we have some people in this room that are like, man, I don't want to stop my training. So we've got to find a happy medium. We've got to find some balance on how to do that. So, you know, my thing is I just wanted to have at bare minimum 5-10 minutes of conversation so that we at least get some conversation going, so that maybe when we get together next week we can sit down and have some conversations in terms of putting together some kind of plan. Whether, you know, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I think that the only way that we're gonna be able to find any kind of compromise here is gonna be on a crew by crew, game by game, night by night basis. That's just me. That's just me on the outside looking in and kind of seeing how things are gonna be able to or not be able to work out.